It's a state where art meets culture. Culture stands side by side with entertainment to drive a vision of a delta beyond oil through employment generation and a means to attract investment into Delta State. I'm Oni Sunday. Welcome to Delta Beyond Oil. Carved out of former Bendel State on August the 27th, 1991, the name Bendel was coined from Benin Delta to reflect the integration of Benin and Delta provinces, which were once part of the Midwestern state from 1963 to 1976. The integration with Benin is clearly reflected in their mode of dressing, dance and much more, along with slight differences in their festivals, arts and tradition. The major ethnic groups in Delta State are Urhobo, Igbo, lzon, Isoko and Itsekiri, many of whom claim a common ancestry. Their cultures are similar and can also be seen in their dressings, which include a pair of wrapper on which you have a shirt-like attire, topped with a bowler hat for the men, usually complemented with a walking stick, and coral beads or gold chain accessories for both men and women. Here, this dance troupe displays various traditional dances peculiar to ethnic groups in Delta State. These similarities and differences are what the state plans to sell to the world in order to grow and promote tourism in the region. With international tour operators world over looking for new destinations to satisfy tourists, the state is embarking on a campaign to discover and promote major cultural festivals that can be secularized for public consumption. Delta State offers a wide variety of tourist attractions such as extended and roomy rivers, unique wildlife, vast tracts of unspoiled nature ranging from tropical forests, historical sites to resorts. Other attractions include their traditional way of life preserved in local customs, rich and varied handicrafts, and other colorful products illustrative of native arts and lifestyle.
Our food will hit you, our colors, our blend of colors will hit you, our love for dance and music and the way we regard our festivals will hit you as well. Our masquerades are very special. I think if you take if you go from the 5 major ethnic groups, there is something very particular and very peculiar about the masquerades. There's also the regatta. Historical times tells us that one of the places you will see, of course, is the Nana Museum. Nana, of course, you know, is a historical figure, rich, you know, and he fought some battles with the British, and when he was exiled, and when he was being taken away, some of the biggest, all the fishermen and traders, they were all in the water with their canoes. He was escorted away. And also history tells us that when he was released and he came back to Koko, the same thing happened. And so that is part of one of the reenactment that I'm desirous of capturing, you know, with our regatta when we do. Before we leave, I'm hoping that next year we'll be able to, you know, flag that off. You'll find things like that already happening in different communities at different times of the year, but we want to adopt that as our own festival, you know, created media that will bring our food, our costumes, our masquerades, our dances, all wrapped up in 1 week of celebration.
That is what we are hoping. We are not talking about domestic tourism. If we look at our activities, yes, we know that domestic tourism is important, and we do know too that the revenue that we're looking for, that's Delta Beyond Oil that we're looking at. If the tourism has to sustain the economy, we have to go to international level. And once we have that festival, we are sure that people will be able to come in, because when they come in, not just coming to watch the festival, they're going to stay in hotels, they're going to eat food, they're going to whatever activities they have in the state, they're going to spend their money in the state. Is that money they're going to spend in the state that will boost the economy of the state? That is what we're talking about when we say Delta Beyond Oil.
While many look forward to the age-old regatta becoming a major festival in the state, sponsored to attract local and international visitors, it's the state's fixed tourist attractions it hopes to showcase to the world in the long run. most of which are still largely untapped and underdeveloped. Owned by host communities, these sites are currently being enjoyed by only a few outsiders or visitors in search of adventure and new experiences. Our search for adventure takes us to some interesting sites. Our first stop is 1,000 feet above sea level, popularly known as the Mount of Delta, in a beautiful community known as Idumuje-Uboko in Aniocha North local government area of Delta State. Sitting on a large expanse of land is this architectural masterpiece. The reason why this house is regarded as a tourist attraction isn't far-fetched.
It's a combination of laterite, soil, and a little bit of cement in different proportion. From that different proportion, you get them in different colors. You can see it's lighter, that one is lighter, and it comes out very strong, up to bullet-proof, texture. That bullet can pass, through it because of the hardness of the mixture. So I don't know how he came about it, but I think it started from this fence. He did it first over many years ago, over 10 years ago, and it's still very strong.
Designed by lawyer and politician Ned Nwoko, its architectural design and interior decoration is a combination of African, Arabian, and Western art, complemented with a royal traditional touch. There is no denying that the most notable feature of the house revolves around the finishing, which extends to its fountain and pyramid. The elaborate plasterwork and ceilings carved in Moroccan fashion are a sight to behold. These carvings are also handmade and designed over a period of 3 years. The doors and windows are handmade and sourced locally. The house is estimated to worth a whopping 10 billion naira. Climbing another 1,000 feet above sea level, one can better appreciate the ecotourism potential on this expanse of land, which rears animals and trees not found in this climb. Still managed by an individual, this site is open to visitors who only pay a token to get a feel of this architectural masterpiece, which is not only visually appealing but also eco-friendly. Made from mud, a reminder that the earth still has a lot to offer if used judiciously. Away from the house on the hill, we're taken back in time. Here, an anchor is erected in honor of early British expatriates Richard and John Landers, better known as the Lander brothers, for their efforts in exploration and commerce in Africa in the year 1830.
Lander Brothers Anchorage was built by the state government to commemorate the work activities of John and Richard Lander, the two Lander brothers. John happened to be the younger brother of Richard, who left Urhobo, Cornwall, to come and navigate the West African coast to see where River Niger emptied into the ocean. And in fact, they were to complete the work of Mungo Park, who didn't get to Asaba. So that is why the state government now said, okay, if they can come with activities to tell the world that the world is not flat, that the world is spherical, therefore we should commemorate them, building this Lander Brothers Anchorage to tell the Western world that we appreciate their activities.
The anchorage and museum overlooks the massive Niger River. From the low fence surrounding the museum, you have an unrestricted view of the slow-moving water. A beautiful coincidence, we're just in time to see a boat float by, a reminder of how the Lander brothers embarked on their expedition. Just like the anchor mounted outside, a replica of the boat used on their expedition sits inside the museum. This room hosts portraits graphically depicting the historic journeys of the explorers on the numerous waterways leading to the massive discovery of the mouth of the Niger River. This trail is represented here in this picture frame. The pictures also show the interaction with the natives, some friendly, others hostile, a hostility that led to the death of one of the brothers. While the tourism potential of this site is yet to be exploited, time stands still for historians craving for the stories and knowledge that this site offers. Delta State is rich in both history and tradition, with various significant sites testament to this, many of which are yet to be exploited or shown for public appreciation. One of such sites is this forest in Ijala in WARRI. Getting here was no easy task. The destination, however, was worth the trip. At first, what you see are trees. Now, this is a jungle any environmentalist would appreciate, because here, trees don't come down, rather trees come up. And they come up every time an Olu, or what you might call a king, dies. Here at the WARRI Kingdom Royal Cemetery, you have trees here dating back as 1500 AD. Over 17 dated trees can be found here. The most fascinating is this tree, planted over the grave of the first king of WARRI Kingdom, known as Oluginwa I, who died in the year 1500. This rusty signpost attests to this, and is possibly as old as the tree itself.
Since 1480, they've lost about 18 kings, and this is where Ginwa I was buried. So when they die, they bring them through boats, the royal boat, to bury here. And the Dibia will tell you how to bury the kings.
What boat? Is there a river around here?
Yeah, there's a creek, which they bring the body through, the casket through.
Okay, now, so what's the whole idea about planting a tree when an Olu or an Oba dies?
Because the tradition of their tradition, when they bury, they plant an Iroko tree or a choice tree to tell the other people that look at where the kings are being buried.
What tree is this?
This is an Iroko tree.
And no one dare cut down this tree?
No one. You don't just come into this park, into this place, this royal cemetery, because you make, there's a quote that you say, if you come into this place, you have to say, Dave. If not, you got lost inside this forest, this cemetery.
Is that really true, or is that just...
No, it's not. It's a true word. You don't just come in, but the king now make it a real groom, that people can come in. Want to make it a real groom. That's why people are allowed to come in now. If not, you don't just come in like that.
Our tour guide tells us that these periwinkles are over 500 years old. Presently, a restoration process is underway aimed at transforming this forest into a reputable tourist attraction.
How do you commercialize this? You don't start out really by commercializing it, but by opening it up to the rest of the world. In another 2 years, you will find an alternative to the Argungun festival in the north, here in Delta, because we have identified a community where the amount of fish that they have in the pond that they leave pending the next season, fishing festival is a lot. How do you commercialize that? You open it up, get investors to sponsor it, and let people see that outside of our Gungu festival, there is another one here. When that becomes the driver of people to that community, hotels will flourish, transportation will flourish, everything else will flourish. So the commercialization, or the commercialization, as it were, of our culture is how we are going to start opening up all of this.
From the undiscovered to that which has become part of everyday living, we head to the source of the Ethiope River, to a community known as Umwaja, a community rich in indigenous culture, ecotourism, and history. At the source of the Ethiope River, we find a huge silk tree with its roots stretching as far as the eyes can see. From underneath, crystal clear water trickles out, circling bamboo trees before flowing further out of the community. This site, however, means more to its immediate community than just its clean water.
The man that discovered this place is a hunter. Those days before, they were living at a smaller village far away from this place. He said he saw this tree as small as that palm fruit there. Many years, they were primitive farmers, they don't keep record, so we would have known the year. That this water was still flowing narrowly like that place. Grass is all over the place like this. That he began to clear the grass. This tree, like that palm from those days, he cut the tree down. The next day when he came out, the tree stood back. And since then, they could not touch the tree again. Instead, they began to worship the tree and the river, as you can see. The source of River Ethiopia. So it flows continuously. It does not have season. It does not flow back. It does not overflow during rainy season. It does not dry during dry season. It remains like this, very clean. We drink the water, we bathe inside.
The beauty of the Ethiope River may not be well appreciated at the source. This breathtaking view of the river stops us in our track. With report of environmental pollution from oil exploration in the Niger Delta region, a body of water this clear is the last thing any visitor would expect. But until the visitors come, the river continues to serve as a source of drinking and cooking water, a pool and a laundry to this community fortunate to have the river flow through it. The ETHIOPE River is reputed to be the deepest inland waterway in Africa, with a lot of history and myth attached to it. It is said to have served a very important role during the colonial era as a route for the movement of goods and people. The British colonialists put it under their protection in 1894 as a means of stopping the activities of Nana, an Itsekiri chief and merchant from the Niger Delta region. He was the fourth Itsekiri chief to hold the position of a governor of Benin River in the 1880s. Owing to a trade dispute with the British government in Cocoa Kingdom, Nana was declared wanted by the British but surrendered in Lagos, from where he was deported from his homeland to Ghana. The Olomu's Palace has been converted into a museum known as the Nana Living History Museum, which chronicles his interactions with the British. It is located in a community known as Cocoa in Delta State. We're not allowed to film inside the museum, but Chief Nana's great-grandson, who chose to speak off camera, shows us a flag belonging to Nana's kingdom, a flag he took along with him into captivity. The flag is a replica of one of the West African countries. Visitors, however, will have a chance to hear the story firsthand of a man sent into captivity in Ghana, only to return as a hero and a respected chief from Ghana. They will also get a feel of Nana's personal effects, from his dining area to his bedroom. Sites like these are in dire need of rehabilitation and investment to attract the desired number of tourists and lovers of history. When Delta Beyond Oil returns, we take a look at other aspects of tourism in the state. We also see how the state government plans to harness the talent of its youth to drive its economy through entertainment, while standing on the authority of the Olu Ginua I of WARRI Kingdom.